Mike and Matt in the morning. Matt, good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Never better. Excited for this one.
Absolutely. Are you feeling a little green?
I am.
Yeah.
And not only because we're getting close to the green day of April 20th.
Absolutely.
Because I fucked up that joke. I had it in my head and I rehearsed that joke and I just fucked it up. I didn't deliver it well.
It's all good. It's all good. I love it. Matt and I are going to be defending Weezer's Green album, which turns 25 this year in 2026. Matt, before we kind of dive into some initial things that I discovered in my research, I wanted to ask you kind of your history with this album. Do you have any memories that pop up when you listen to any of the songs, do the full album playthrough, anything like that?
So, yes and no. I think there's kind of two reasons that I relate to this. One, which was supposed to be part of the joke that I just botched. For whatever reason, I think probably just the proximity of release dates, I kind of relate it to Green Day's Warning. A lot of people didn't love the album. There was a lot of but there was one or two hits on it, right, that the masses enjoyed. I remember really liking this album, but not being confident enough to express it openly and freely, which is such a weird thing, but Weezer fans are hardcore, die-hard Weezer fans. And I don't know, I've always loved Weezer, but I've never been they're not my Blink 182, so I don't know everything about them. I don't go to every show that I can. So yeah. Then kind of the other side of it is I just remember it being a time in my life where I thought things were starting to get really complicated in life and more responsibility, which is hilarious to look back on now. And I remember really enjoying that it was kind of a chill summer album, which I hadn't had in a couple of years, I relate it to, and it's very different sonically, but I kind of related to how Phoenix TX's first album or self-titled album made me feel, right? And it was just oh, I can just kind of relax, and listen to it, and it made me feel, which is again hilarious, it made me feel young again. It's one of those things that it's the Andy Bernard, I wish I knew that I was in the good old days when I was in the good, kind of made me feel like that for 1998 again, even though it was only a few years later. But I don't know. Is that weird? That's weird. But
no, I don't think so. I have some very fond and specific memories of this album. First off, I will agree with you. I love Weezer, but maybe I'm not as hardcore as I thought, because it's the whole reason why we're doing this episode. I really like this album from the start. From the second I heard Hash Pipe on the radio, I went, whoa, kind of thing. I am into this. I can't wait to hear the rest of this kind of thing. And two, this album came out in my mind not too far before my family, me, my mom, and my sister got our house actually in the Vales, Matt, of Cheektowaga. And I vividly remember listening to this album on a little CD boombox player while we were like moving in and getting the house ready and things like that. And it's just one that all the time it just takes me back to that. It was just a super exciting time in our lives to be like, wow, we like really like this house a lot. We're excited to be like putting it all together kind of thing. And I also think it was a time in my life where like, yeah, the internet existed to a degree, but I wasn't going around and looking to be like, what would other people think of this album kind of thing. Like it was very much a time of me just hearing music, and it was my own call to go like, do I like this or not kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this one hit very hard. And truthfully, as the years have gone on, especially within the last, I'll say 5 or so years, this goes for music, movies, video games, even kind of thing. I stopped reading reviews. I stopped watching YouTube reviews of things for the reason of like, you know what? I want it to be my call if I dig something or not. I don't want to
yeah,
have like a little voice in my head or anything like that of like, well, in this scene, we really didn't understand why the person was saying this or anything like that. Or we didn't like that Weezer wasn't as hard or angsty as the Blue Album kind of thing. It's really a time where it almost like you said, like it brings me back to a youthfulness of like things that didn't cross my mind of reviewers or anything like that. So
right.
if that makes sense at all.
No, it does. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
you know, we live in a world now, and I understand that what I'm about to say is kind of ironic because of what we're doing right this second, but we live in a world where opinions are everywhere and easily accessible. You know, people's perspectives and opinions are just out there on the internet, and it's easy to be influenced and allow other people's perspectives and biases influence like your own enjoyment of things, you know, of art, of music, of um and I don't know that it's maybe that's kind of what, like, why I know I feel this way. I think a lot of other people feel this way. Like it's like almost like conflicted about, like, I kind of miss the analog world, the pre, internet age, and but still like can't imagine going back because accessibility of music and so many things is just so much easier now. So yeah, I think, I don't know, it's just like that resonated with me. Yeah, it's tough to like block some of that out, right? Especially when you don't even really realize that it's happening. There's a reason that people get so uh I don't know, like drawn into like TikTok and YouTube shorts, and like because like it's just an endless scroll. And I know that this is kind of like a trite thing to say because everybody has said it, but you can be like, I think like 10 years ago you could be influenced, but you knew you were being influenced on the internet. Now I think that it's easy to not even realize you're being influenced because you're just mindlessly consuming, right? Sorry, took that out.
Don't worry. No, I know what you mean. It's just rapid fire now. It's way too easy to have 30 videos in front of your eyes within 3 minutes kind of thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
yeah,
I was saying, this album brings me back to a time long before anything like that. Love to share a little information with you on the album before we get going. Some light stuff. Released May 15th, 2001, 5 years after Pinkerton, and almost exactly 7 after the Blue Album. And so I have a feeling I know why you're possibly wondering or thinking about that. The gap between Pinkerton and Green was due to the kind of critical failure of Pinkerton. It was like slammed by the critics when it first came out. They said it's not Weezer Blue. What is this? And so it sent Rivers into truthfully a depression. He like disappeared from the world for a super long time. And from my research into this album, once he started like kind of coming out of it a little bit more, he did make the call of like, you know what? I was like given pieces of myself on Blue and especially on Pinkerton. And now I'm not going to give you guys everything. Like we are going to be a little bit more straightforward power pop, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. So maybe that's where some of the dislike of Green comes from, because people then clearly in that 5-year gap started appreciating Pinkerton more and more over time. And now I think, and you can let me know what you like rank them. I think some people say Pinkerton is better than Blue, kind of thing.
I think plenty of people do.
I have them kind of neck and neck for different reasons. They're different feelings to me, depending on what I want to listen to at the time. But outside of that, I did want to dig back and kind of see what some of the old reviews said about it. So I actually found Pitchfork's review of the Green album. Matt, they gave it a 4 out of 10, which on the Pitchfork scale means just below average. Bad outweighs good, but just by a little bit. And a couple of the lines that I snipped out of here, the very first line in the review, or lines, is this, and I quote, "I could fill an entire paragraph right now simply repeating the name Weezer. Oh, Weezer, Weezer, Weezer. Oh, Weezer, how sad I am for Weezer," is the opening to the entire review. He follows up by recounting the first time he heard Hash Pipe on the radio. And I quote, "And when it ended, I said, no. I said, no, 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 Weezer. Where has Rivers Cuomo gone? What has he done? What has happened to my Weezer? Where are the real Weezer? My heart was broken. Really. This is going to sound like hyperbole, but I hated music at that moment." End quote.
I mean, it's going to sound like hyperbole because it is. Like, I mean, and this is kind of like what I was talking about. Like, you had to, like, back then you had to seek out like the critics' opinions and to, you know, like the influence that they have on you. Now, like, you just get that in a scroll, and whether or not you're looking for it. I don't know. Like, what I would ask that guy is, what gives you the right?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like, who the fuck are you? I don't know.
You?
Like, and honestly, like, how can you listen to a song like Hash Pipe and feel that strongly against, or I mean, honestly, for it also, right? I think it's a fine song, you know, but like, honestly, it's a cool song. Like, not every song needs to like can blow your mind, and you know, like, it's a catchy little tune with some crunchy ass guitars, and I don't know. I think. Oh, sorry. This goes into the Tom DeLonge of RevOps. Like, everything that we built Radish to be is like, take the work seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. And I think that is an example of somebody who is taking themselves too seriously, and their opinion and their worldview too seriously, right? Like, it's a fucking pop song. or pop punk song or a punk song, whatever you want, like however you want to classify Weezer. It's like, I don't know, bro. It's not that serious. Like, I
No,
get that you have
it's
a job
not.
to do, but
Absolutely. Outside of that, in a separate review, just another thing that jumped out to me where I again went, is that necessarily a bad thing? You can let me know what you think, Matt. For starters, this other review gave the album a grade of a C and stated it's largely comprised of material that sounds like it could come from another band at any moment. At an excruciatingly short 28 minutes, it leaves the listener wanting a lot more after the last track ended. So I did a little digging. Green Album is indeed 28 minutes long. Pinkerton is 35, Blue is 41, but then again, Only in Dreams is 8 minutes long. And how much does that play into the pulled out runtime kind of thing? So I don't know. It's not like it's a, I don't know if you've ever listened to Joyce Manor. Joyce Manor albums are like snappy. They are fast albums kind of thing. And I don't know. I guess I don't mind something that I could knock out with ease.
agreed. Also, and I've never really looked that far into this, but, and maybe you have. Do you know, like, has Rivers ever kind of stated who his influences are? Because I could make a couple of guesses, and I don't know. I feel like, any of those are short albums, short songs, like.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that due to their involvement with Rick Ocasek of the Cars, that the Cars played a large part into the Weezer sound. And truthfully, it was I want to say the Weezer fans, if anyone watches this, will tear me apart if I get this wrong, but whatever. There was this specific guitar where I want to say it might have been a Gibson double cutaway that like truly is the sound of Weezer. Like once they plugged that in and plugged it into the amp, it went, that's it. And just like, that's the real kind of push of the whole guitar sound.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've never actually made that connection, or the connection to the Cars, and like I kind of just hung up on that because I now, like, I almost need to go listen to everything to kind of like reevaluate. I also really kind of Beach Boys, right?
Oh yeah. Especially with the harmonies, like the initial two albums of Blue and Pinkerton, especially with the high harmonies.
Yeah.
I know it's not multi 3, 4, 5-part harmonies like the Beach Boys, but it always was something where I would be like, you are inspired by that without a doubt.
Yeah. And just I don't know, kind of simplicity. It feels simple, but it really is. It takes restraint to produce something simple that's also good, I guess. I'm not articulating this well, but sometimes less is more, I guess. And I think they do that really well. And I think they bury a lot of like the complexity in how simple they end up with. I don't know. But it's the same thing with like Beach Boys. Same thing with the Cars, even. I don't know how much of the Cars you've listened to, but I had like a few years there where I was huge into the Cars. Rick Ocasek is one of like the coolest motherfuckers on the planet. I could also see like, so I had never really made the connection to anything other than earlier kind of like punk grunge type stuff, even like, and I guess like new wave as well, but I don't really consider the Cars new wave, even though like I think they influenced a lot of it. I like consider them a little bit earlier. Yeah, and I'm like reevaluating so much right now. We gotta can we start listening? Because
I
I'm
was
like
just gonna say, let's
yeah.
hit play, and now that you got kind of that Rick Ocasek thought in your head, let's get rolling through this. Let's start off, ladies and gentlemen, the Green Album. Yeah.
One of my favorite things is just like some people might hear it as unenthusiastic, or others might hear it as like effortlessly cool, which I think is definitely kind of a Rick Ocasek thing. But it's almost ooh, right? Like it's like almost satirical Beach Boys, like I don't know, like, hey, we're not going to take it too seriously and we're not that excited about it, which encapsulates a lot of like that era, I mean, maybe not 2001, but certainly closer to Blue Album, but like that, like, I don't care about anything type of,
Which the vocals, well, more so the vocal delivery. I know we talked about the lyrics, people being like, there's not a lot of substance to these, but I saw criticisms of just the way that Rivers sings on this, kind of along the same lines of what you were saying, where people were going like, man, he was like really going for it on the Blue Album, really pushing himself on Pinkerton and stuff like that. And then they go, we come in here, and it just sounds like he's like, yeah, here we go.
Uninterested.
Yeah.
But it's intentional, so it's an artistic choice, and I think it's fucking awesome. I had never really considered it before. But now, yeah, like now I am, and I mean, really, it kind of relates back to what you said, which I never really realized, like, he's giving less of himself on this, and it, like, literally, here's the exam. Like you don't even need to listen to the lyrics. You don't even need to, like, you can just hear it in the voice. Like, he's beaten down by, whatever, like unfair criticism, or because I mean, like, let's be honest, even Pitchfork or AP, like, critics back then were, I know it was pre-clickbait, but like they're looking for a negative angle to create conflict so that it goes viral, so people want to share the article, want to talk about it, so that they can sell more magazines, or they can get more eyeballs on their work, right? Which is like an unfair way to critique something. Like, when you have something to gain by being negative, I don't know, throws all the credibility's out the window at that point.
Because you had the reaction when I said they gave him a 4 out of 10. Because think about it, like, if I had said a 6, a 7, or an 8, would it just land in a like middle ground for you? Where, like, what's the fun in like an album getting a 6, 7, and 8 along the lines of what
Correct.
you're saying, versus giving someone a 9 or a 10, saying something's perfect, or going the complete opposite direction and going like, hate the new Weezer.
I can see, like, I can hear the conversation. The author of the article, who set the the rating, went in there or submitted it to his or her editor as a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10, whatever. Because honestly, I think a 6 or 7 out of 10 is fair, right? Like, I mean, if we're talking only in Weezer, even then, like yeah, okay, like, that's a good relative score. In all of music history, yeah, like, it's not better than so many albums that, so but I can see the conversation, or like the feedback of like, okay, yeah, 6 out of 10, let's make it 4 out of 10,
Yeah.
Because we want to, like, we want to create the conflict, we want to create the controversy, or we want to, like get the hype about this article out there, right? So maybe I was a little too harsh on the author, a minute ago when I was like, who the fuck are you? Because it could have gotten stomped on by people who just wanted to sell more magazines or whatever.
Yeah, and we have no idea, like you said, behind the scenes of maybe they did give it a different score. Maybe it's not entirely up to them. I don't know. I have no idea how the inner workings of it go. But
well, and like I've felt that before in my career, back when I was doing, I mean, it was creative work for marketing, like it wasn't like actual journalism or anything like that. But yeah, like I still see, I wrote an ad for a local company, I don't know, 9 years ago, and it still plays during local Bills games, and like on the you know how like they'll give like the local station some ads to sell during Bills and Sabres games. Yeah, it still plays on there, and every time I hear it, all I can hear are the changes that like the client insisted on, and I fucking hate it, so I'll give Pitchfork author a little bit of leeway there, a little bit of latitude. Maybe it wasn't all his fault, but I don't know.
I mean, we're on to the first single that I ever heard from the Green Album prior to its release. Literally the reason why I wanted to buy it, like I was saying, heard this had to be on 103.3 The Edge way back in the day, and just that too, that's just a lost art of. Coming up next, we got the new single from Weezer, Hashpipe, coming off the Green Album in May, kind of thing. And again, it came on, and I'll admit this, I was late to the Blue Album. I was aware of singles when they came out, and I was also late to Pinkerton. But I hopped on years before the Green Album. It was sometime in the 5-year break between Pinkerton and Green when I went, no, I'm really going to sink my teeth, especially into Pinkerton. I've never listened to this kind of thing.
Which I think that's interesting, because I think we could make the argument that this song in particular, and probably, what's the other one? Island in the Sun, introduced more people to Weezer than either Pinkerton or the Blue Album ever did. Anything,
Oh, yeah.
Like, which, and I mean, I don't even mean like casual listeners, because obviously it did, like, introduce more. But I think from that whole piece of the pie, like, so let's say 1 million people started listening to Weezer because of this song, right? I would say still more hardcore Weezer fans came out of this song than Blue Album or Pinkerton. Whether or not they've reverted to like, oh, Blue Album's better than this, I don't know, but I would make the argument that, yeah, this has introduced more people to Weezer than anything else that they've ever done, and this song in particular. And this is really where I was going when I was saying, like, it's like summery, and I, not only this one, we kind of skipped right over Photograph, and I adore
Photograph. That's a great song, Photograph. I will say we have not come to my personal favorite of the album yet. I don't know about you. Do you have a favorite, or you just celebrate the whole thing?
So I was thinking about it when we decided a day or two ago that we were going to do this one. I was kind of like conflicted. I was excited. I honestly have not listened to this album in quite a while. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure I've heard this song and Hashpipe a couple of times just randomly out and about, but I was like, should I listen to it prior, or should I just like go into this kind of cold? It's been a while. I opted to come into this cold, and I don't know that I have a favorite. I think so far, Photograph is the clear-cut winner. I'm curious to see once we get to 10 if I still feel that way.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
do love Photograph, especially with the, like, again, we've talked about dynamics in the mix just being catchy on their own. After the intro clapping part, and then it just hits with full guitars. Like, it's just a great start to Photograph. I gotta agree with you. I didn't look at this, and we should once the album concludes. Do you think if we go to Weezer's Spotify page, Island in the Sun is number one with a bullet? Most played, without a doubt. Or do you think something like Buddy Holly sneaks in like that? I don't know the answer. We can take a peek. I'm just saying that in the sense of this is one of those songs where my mom loved it also. It would come on and she's like, I love this song. She goes, play it again. And like we'd hit the back button kind of thing. I think it's just one of those ones where like I would have never convinced her or a family member who I would never think would listen to Weezer to enjoy maybe some other songs. Not that they were ever abrasive or anything like that. It wasn't like I was trying to get them to listen to Finch or something like that. But
Thursday.
Yes. But this is such a like huge breakout hit that it's hard to not like it kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say if we go to the main page, this is top 3 on that list. I guarantee it. It's got to be within the top 3. I don't know. I don't know that I would confidently say what number 1 is though. But I know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it is that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Island in the Sun is number 1. I think. If it's not, it's Undone, Sweater Song.
Yeah. I would say Sweater Song is number 1. Island in the Sun is number 2.
Or son of a Say It Ain't So. That might be up there. Which again
okay. I'm gonna say Island in the Sun is number 2, regardless of what is number 1. I'm gonna say number 1 is absolute. I mean, obviously, well, this is a cop out on this, but is from Blue Album. I'm gonna stop there. Is on Blue Album. Whatever.
I'll dig my own grave deeper here. Number 1 is Say It Ain't So. For the reason of I think
you're right.
I always catch something like this. It was on Rock Band, and I feel like that stuff like that, things appearing on Guitar Hero and Rock Band do play into people's nostalgia, truthfully, because there could be a decent chunk of people where that might be one of the only Weezer songs they know, and they know it from that kind of thing. So
and they were exactly. They were introduced to them from the massive popularity of that. Gained Weezer a new audience, a new market, right? So, can we look?
You want to peek right now?
Yeah, I can't. I need to know.
Hang on, that's
out of order.
I don't know why this is popping up here, so we're just gonna.
Oh, you know what? So, I once had that same question. I Googled it, and I think it said like, so it's based on a combination of most plays, but also most plays in a time frame, right? Yeah, in like the last 30 days or 60 days or something like that.
Can I let you know we just started my favorite song of Green Album?
Nice.
I love this song for the reason of it is the tightest 2 minutes of catchiness ever. It's so up there. I remember as a kid going back to this one over and over again, just because I'm like, this song is just, it's relentless in the best way of like, it starts immediately.
Yep.
And I just think it's so damn catchy. But we're gonna erase this. Obviously, this is not total plays, but I mean, man, Island in the Sun, look at that play count. That is insane.
It is.
But say it ain't so, at least without just digging in album by album, sneaking in at what appears to be second right there, followed by Buddy Holly.
I just asked, here's like a great use of AI. I just asked Gemini to rank them for me because I didn't want to. And it's Island in the Sun with 1.1 billion. Say it ain't so at 687. Is that? Let's test. Yeah. All right. So Gemini knows it's actually, it's not hallucinating. Buddy Holly is third.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills.
So let me tell you about that
song.
Okay, so I think that's a very fun song. And again, maybe in my less hardcore Weezer ways, there's parts of that album, Make Believe, that I really like. I was still on board at that point, like, where I'm like, there's a new Weezer, unquestionably I'm going to buy the CD kind of thing. And for whatever shit Beverly Hills gets by fans, in my mind, I think I've only seen Weezer once, truly. And I gave you a little background on the story. It was the show where they were opening for Blink, but it was the day that DJ AM had passed away. So Blink went, we can't play kind of thing. So Weezer played an extended set. I'll tell you, man, when Beverly Hills came on, the crowd was fucking feeling it. People were going wild. So I don't care if you don't like it outside of it. When it gets played live, it is like instantly everyone had a fucking smile on their face, living it up kind of thing.
You know why? It's an unserious song. It's and like people like there's a lot of reasons to listen to music, and I like when bands have the ability to provide you with something to listen to in different like moods or like what like for different reasons, right? Like I love The Cure, but like I'm never gonna put a single Cure song on like a playlist for somebody's birthday party. You know what I mean? Like it's just like they're kind of niched down into the lonely, I'm gonna listen to it when I'm feeling kind of sad, right? I think Weezer gives you a lot of different, I don't know. I also, like, oddly am relating it to my latest obsession, which I don't think I've talked about on here, but my latest like ADHD hobby is watches. And I'm whatever, like I don't have, I have a lot of watches now all of a sudden, but none of them are very nice. But like, there are different watches for different moods that I'm in, like in the day or like what I want to portray. And like, yeah, I could pick like a Beverly Hills watch, I could, that gives me the same feeling that expresses what Weezer's trying to express by writing that song. It's kind of like not like wearing something ironically necessarily, but like just not looking serious. I don't know, not coming off as too serious about yourself. And I could find another one for how Hash Pipe makes me feel. I don't know. Yeah.
I was talking about that, also just jogged something else into my head. We've mentioned it in the past, especially on the Warped Tour episode. Boy, do I love live stream concerts. Coachella was last weekend.
Yeah.
It's this upcoming weekend as well. Hot Mulligan played, so I got to see them live stream, which is, they even said themselves on stage, like, I don't know why we're here. But from the last Warped Tour live stream, I'm trying to find the band right now, and apologies that it's not immediately jumping in. But like I've said in the past, I've occasionally just put people on to go, I don't know you, but I'd love to see if I dig what I'm hearing, kind of thing. And one of the prior stops, one of the early of the 3 Warped Tour stops, I put this band on, and I went, I kind of dig this. This is pretty good. And so then the next stop in the next live stream, I'm like, I'm going to watch your whole set. And I hopped on, and they covered Beverly Hills.
Nice.
And the crowd loved it. And so again,
Sorry,
like,
did you say who? Did you say who? Okay, you said you
I gotta
couldn't.
look it up. I'm trying to find it
fine.
as we speak in the moment here.
I saw something from the Coachella live stream just like in my endless scrolling the other day, and I remember thinking to myself, I need to come back to this because that's interesting, and for whatever reason I just like wasn't in the mood to like to watch a 30-second video, which is, now that I'm saying it out loud, fucking ridiculous. But and I'm trying to look at like who I remember thinking it like, oh, that's an interesting combo. Like I don't know. Wow. Can I just say, I'm looking through like this Coachella live stream like schedule.
Yeah.
I love like this like it's like a seemingly like rejuvenation for David Byrne. Like you know,
he's been popping up everywhere.
Yeah. I like doing shit with Hayley Williams and Paramore and shit like that. Like I just like, yeah, I loved it. Hopefully he's being introduced to like a new generation, because holy shit, what a fucking awesome motherfucker he is.
Yeah. All right, I'm scanning through. Not that this is exciting, so if you have something else you want to fill this with, I'm trying to figure out who this damn band is.
Well, I'm also like, I'm just kind of like blown away at like the mix of Coachella, because I've never been, I've never really even considered, but now I'm seeing Interpol. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes there are.
Like, I didn't even know they were still active, and like, did anybody remember them? They're like so, I don't know. Like, I mean they were like my indie gateway drug, you know? Like,
oh yeah. Who is this damn band? I'll know it as soon as I see the name, kind of thing.
What?
Anyway, there are some surprises. There's some years where I look at the Coachella lineup and I just go, someone's having fun. Knock yourself out in the middle of the desert, kind of thing. But other times,
Flag.
Oh, Black Flag and shit, who was it? There's someone else on there that was shocking too, in like an old punk level.
I'm not seeing any Suicidal Tendencies.
I think it was that.
Iggy Pop. But that, yeah, I guess Iggy Pop kind of.
Yeah. The band, I finally saw the name. Their name is Games We Play. And they're the ones who covered Beverly Hills.
Hang on. I think I've heard them. Also, we haven't talked about this album at all. We're not doing a very good job of defending it. Although I think I think we've done defended it, you know? And I think that's fine. Yeah, so I don't know when I saved this song, but Games We Play, the end, I have here on Spotify, and I can see that I had saved it at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know where I found them from, but yeah, I like it.
It is also one of those things where, like, I feel like that goes to show you that maybe again the hardcore Weezer fans heard Beverly Hills and went, guys, no, what happened? But to people of a younger age when that came out, that it stuck with them enough where they created a band. I don't know if it was due to Beverly Hills hearing it, but enough where they got to a point where they played Warped Tour and they went, you know what we have to do? We got to cover Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
A crowd pleaser. Yeah.
And you know what? Right. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just write songs that, I don't know, like that you think are technically perfect or, you know, like whatever. I don't know, if you're going to be a serious and successful recording artist, you need to put out something that people want to hear live, you know, that people are going to get excited about and chant to and sing along with, you know. I mean, it's like, and like every band, every successful band in any genre does it. Like, I don't care if it's you know, jam bands, like they have their like hits, you know, like even if it's not like a radio hit, like they have the songs that people go to the concerts to see, right? If it's a metal song, like they, you know, like, or a metal band, like they have their, like the songs that like people would be disappointed and or pissed if you didn't play live. So I don't know. I figured out what I was talking about, the Coachella thing. It wasn't an interesting combo, but it was Moby, which I don't know if this is going to surprise you or not, but I was deeply into Moby in like 1999, 2000, 2001, and maybe into like 2003 or so. I was deeply into Moby. I loved him. I thought Play, I like Play is an incredible album. And when I saw that, I remember why I was thinking, oh, I gotta come back to this later, and I'm not gonna be able to find the song because I went and I saved it, but I had already liked it, and I tried to like unlike it and then relike it so it would be at the top, but that's not how Spotify works. I'm finding out right.
It knows too well.
But it was on, and it was whoever it was on Play. And it's whoever kind of like this, he's like kind of like an R&B soul vocalist. Moby actually had him there at Coachella to sing his part. It was just a sample that he used.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, that's fucking cool that he's like throwing it back to that and performing it live. And I don't know. Also, like Play wasn't available on any streaming services until like a few years ago, and that was awesome when it finally made its way back to my life. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've had a couple albums like that, or even songs where for the longest time, actually I should search, it could still be the case. You know me, Matt, I love my pop songs. I would occasionally go, I really want to listen to Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles. I can't wait to listen to that.
Fuck
and
yeah.
I would go, and the rest of the album would be available, but you could not stream that song. You had to buy it. And that's your only option kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which then I would just default to YouTube and watch the music video, and also get to see her on the piano going through the streets.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that at all. She's a handsome woman. I don't know why I just said that. I don't know.
Isn't that like a Panic at the Disco title?
Is it?
It sounds, if not, it sounds like it could be one.
You want to know something that might surprise you?
Tell me.
I don't really love Panic at the Disco.
I'll tell you this.
Something about them irks me. However, when I listen to a single Panic at the Disco song, I got to listen to an entire album, because then I'm like, all right, I'm into it. Right now I'm into it.
Really?
And then I'm done.
So I am with you. I will be very honest. I don't like them. It's as simple as that. I'm not a fan, except, and I think because this probably breaks their usual sound, which I refer to the early Panic at the Disco as circus music, is what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like something that should be playing at a punk rock circus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. There's the song. She's a Handsome Woman. That's why. This is quite possibly the only album I have ever listened to straight through of theirs.
Do 9 in the Afternoon. Oh, I remember that.
This is the big single. You know that one.
Can you play it though?
Do you want that or Handsome Woman?
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
You just want to know it's this one?
Oh, you can leave it on. Yeah.
Let's get rolling. Yeah. Keep going.
I don't really care. I agree. One, I was introduced to the song, I think I've mentioned this before, on a Journeys DVD when I worked at Journeys, and we got one DVD with like 50 songs on it, and we would listen to it all month, and it was just like, so a lot of the time I ended up liking songs, but it was really just Stockholm syndrome, because I was like kidnapped to, and forced to listen to it constantly. But I remember this song, and it was on it, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this. Like, I can't believe I like a Panic at the Disco song this much.
Yeah. It's
a groovy ass song. This album, and I maybe misremember, no, listen to that. That's Sgt. Pepper's right there.
You are exactly where my mind was when I heard this album. I go,
yeah,
I like this because it's like wildly, not even like Beatles coded. It's the Beatles. There's so many like real way back touches to the songs and things like that. And that's probably why I dig it.
And I'll actually make the argument, or maybe to me it's just like a distinction. It's ELO coded, which was Beatles coded, which was Sgt. Pepper, like really, this is ELO to me, right? And I mean, it's still so much. It's not even Beatles, it's Sgt. Pepper's. Like, this is Sgt. Pepper's right here.
Specifically, yes.
Like, everything, and it's done really well. It's like, I guess maybe when I started out saying I don't like Panic, I do. One, I need to be in the right mood. Two, I've never liked them enough to like go deep on any of it. But like, I recognize that they're talented songwriters and not afraid to be contrary to what is popular at the moment. Like think about it.
There was nothing like,
this was not,
I chime in with a haven't you ever heard of, like, there was no song like that ever before that point. They are, I'm with you, they are exclusively them. Where I also, even to this point, maybe someone that I'm not aware of has like ripped off their sound, but I can't think of anyone.
Yeah, I can't either. Do you remember John Tallarico? Oh,
yes.
Yeah. He loves Panic at the Disco. And like, I would say 8 or 10 years ago, he and I kind of reconnected. Yeah, I was doing some freelance marketing for his insurance agency. And we would like, it's funny. Like, we would just have these like conversations that would start like kind of later at night on Facebook Messenger, where I'd be like, it would be work related. I'd be like, hey, like, can you pay my fucking invoice, or hey, can you approve this, or can we do this, yada yada yada. And then it would just turn into like both of, well, I don't know if he was drinking, but I was, just music discussions, and then like an argument about Panic at the Disco. And he would like, yeah, I don't know. And it's, oh man, it's kind of funny, like how when people, like at a certain point, like we just sort of then stopped, right? Like, because we weren't necessarily working together anymore, and like whatever. Honestly, I didn't want to keep bothering him. I think about once a year for a couple of years after that, I would just like randomly get drunk and bother him on Facebook Messenger about something. But it's funny how like I've replaced him with other people, because like I replaced that conversation with Tristan and like the Grateful Dead and stuff like that. I'm just now realizing it. God,
You always need somebody to like kind of poke and prod you about a band you don't like.
I mean, I do. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone.
Not everybody does.
Yeah. It's something that you need, though.
I'm just a bastard who wants to tell people what I think about things. So.
Hey, that's why we're doing this show.
Yeah.
But hey, that's also why we just, I'll say, I think we strongly at least defended our stance on the Green album. I
do too.
To kind of like just put in all the sum out. Like I said, it isn't nostalgia for me. Like I said, it takes me back to a very, very particular time in my life. Still back in those days, especially pre like graduating from high school. Like, I don't know about you, like not to sound like sappy or anything like that, but like I just have wildly happy memories, like from senior year backwards kind of thing, where like, dude, there were no cares in the world that I had. Like every day was no, exactly. And it's just the excitement of discovering new music. It still gets to me to this day kind of thing. But like, especially back then, we also lived at one part, I was telling you, for our Buffalo, New York listeners, in Cheektowaga off of North Creek. And at the time it was behind the plaza that had a Circuit City in it. Mm-hmm. And I am not joking when I say I would get so excited for album release days, and it was a walkable distance for me. I would hop over people's fences in their yards to get to a shortcut that took me to Circuit City faster. I was there the second they opened. I remember buying Enema of the State and stuff like that, like from there. And just, I'm like, I can't believe this is in my hands kind of thing. Like, it's finally here, the whole album. And like, this is also in that vein of like, I am so excited that there's new Weezer in my hands. It's kind of the approach that I had to it.
Love that. Yeah, I don't think it's nostalgia, because I don't like, or like only the nostalgia of it, right? Because I think if it was like, think about how much you listen to at that time that doesn't make you feel that way, or you don't have, doesn't have that connection. I'm sure there's a lot. Also, I know exactly the shortcut you're talking about, which is hilarious, and I haven't thought about it in years, because I don't know for how long, but AJ Hurry lived kind of in that area, and so did Chris Hurd.
Oh yeah, he was down the street.
We would take that little shortcut to either Circuit City or just if we were walking to the mall. Yeah. And also I worked at that Circuit City for, I'm going to say 2 days, but it was probably closer to like 2 weeks.
What happened? Why just 2 days?
It was like a seasonal, so I had taken like a seasonal job there for, and was promised that like I would work in the TV department, because I was still working at FYE at the time, and I was like, I want to work in the TV because I want to make commission, and that was the only department that gave commission. And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, sure. And it was like the 2 weeks leading up to Black Friday, and within that time, it went from, okay, you're going to work in TV to you're going to work primarily in TV, but you're going to just be the gopher for the sales reps. And I was like, no, I was hired as a sales rep, and they're like, nah, no, not anymore. So I stuck it out for a little bit, and all of a sudden I'm just like doing my same job at a different place, like stocking CDs and DVDs and just, going and grabbing shit, from the back room for, everybody else. And the last straw was I was not supposed to work Black Friday at a certain time. I was going to work, right? And then they like changed it, and I was like, well, no, I can't, because I need to be out by this time, because then I gotta go to FYE and work the rest, the rest of the fucking day. And they're like, sorry. So I was just like, all right, I'll figure it out. And the guy's like, well, if you want to like, move up in this company, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, I'll figure it out. I'll talk to the people I've been working with for 4 fucking years, no. And I just like walked out, never came back.
Also, how it had to be not terribly far away from Circuit City no longer being a thing.
Was not that far off. Yeah. It was not. For a while, and I don't know if I could even come up with them all, but for a while I was kind of like a black widow for a lot of companies, like I mean, it finally happened, but I remember when I quit, I worked at, I managed a Rite Aid for a while. Hated that job, sucked, but it was fine. I remember saying when I left, I'm like, this company has about 5 years left. They're gonna file for bankruptcy. They're gonna go away, and we're pretty much, we're there. FYE, I was, like eventually. I mean, they technically exist, but they have like the same amount of employees that Radish has. It's online only.
Are they the ones I'm thinking of where it's just like all Funko Pops now?
Yeah, probably. I worked at Dex Media for a while, which was like the phone book, but they were like transitioning into like online advertising. I worked there for like a month, and I was like, nah, this place is not going to be here for very long.
Yeah.
And it was true. I think they exist in other states still, but I don't know, the pizza place I worked at after I quit, they ended up closing down. Like, I don't know. I was bad luck for a lot of companies.
See, I think everyone needed you. If you had
stayed
them, they would have, Circuit City would have never closed with you there. Selling TVs, though, you had to be in the right spot.
I would have been the linchpin, selling Panasonic and Zenith and Sharp TVs.
Absolutely.
Which maybe, I mean, honestly, think about it. Think about like the ripple effect, the butterfly effect. I could have kept like Zenith around, or not, Zenith was gone by then, I think, but Sharp, like go try and buy a Sharp TV right now. You can't, I would have saved so many companies. And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They're lost.
I'm just gonna have to live with that regret.
Absolutely. But hey, outside of that, had a blast listening to the Green Album with you. Any one of our listeners, like we said, you probably know Island in the Sun. I know we talk over this. Give the Green Album a listen. Like, truthfully, it's a quick, snappy, like we said, 28 minutes of honestly a great time. I'm going to be surprised if you don't like it. But outside of that, thank you for listening. Matt, thanks for hanging out, talking about your memories of the Green Album. And we'll see you on the next episode. Later.